My very special guest today is Marla Mattenson. She is the creator of the Ethical Sales Process and co-founder of the Intimacy Experts. Marla is an internationally recognized speaker and expert. She works with thought leaders in love, sales, and business. Using her background in neuroscience, mathematics, and relationship-based sales, Marla guides businesses, couples, and individuals to uncover the hidden patterns in their relationships and business to unlock passion, financial success, and unlimited joy. And you guys know I love joy. Over the course of her 20-plus year career, Marla has helped thousands, including Academy Award-winning actors, producers, and directors, NBA players and coaches, Grammy Award-winning artists, and millionaire entrepreneurs. Her advice has appeared in the New York Times, Forbes, Oprah, NBC, ABC, CBS, and Entrepreneur, just to name a few. She lives what she teaches with Julian Coker, the love of her life, and her business partner. Let me add, an incredible friend. She has this amazing ability to really make people feel seen and heard. And she's had an incredible journey just in her own life. And I'm so excited about bringing her on today. So Marla, thank you for being here. Welcome to the Mary Dee Show. I'm your host, Mary Dee, here to be your guide as we extract wisdom and life lessons from top CEOs, thought leaders, artists, spiritual luminaries, and wellness experts. My intention is to bring you value in every show that sparks an idea, helps you break a limiting belief, or encourages you to create thoughts that up-level your life so that you can know from the deepest parts of your soul that everything you want is available to you and that abundance is your birthright. In 2018, I healed from breast cancer holistically after surgery without the use of chemotherapy or pharmaceuticals. I love biohacking and plant medicine and exploring spirituality and what it means to be in relationship with spirit so that we can feel whole and complete no matter what life throws at us. My specialty in the business world is strategy and leadership, and my gift to each of you is my ability to listen so that I can help others see themselves. In each episode, I want to sprinkle you with some hope dust, tickle your funny bone, and inspire you to find your inner roar. Get ready to live your most aligned, purposeful, and joy-filled life now, and enjoy the show.
That all is well and that I'm doing it perfectly. That the idea of doing it right, doing it wrong, all of that is just a construct, and that all is well all the time, even in the challenges, even in the dark times, and that you're going to experience that at some point in your life, sweetheart, talking to myself. And I know that now. And I also know now that all feedback is love. And that is something I did not know back in the day, that all feedback is love. Not all feedback feels like love.
Sure. So how do you define feedback versus criticism?
Well, when you're living really from a spiritual perspective, criticism is just feedback. And so feedback is the umbrella that you choose to view all of life through. So whether something comes through as criticism or negative feedback or attacking feedback even, or positive feedback, all of it is feedback and all of it is love. From the perspective of not spiritually bypassing, from the perspective of everyone's just trying to get their needs met. And so my experience of life is not the same as somebody else's experience because it's my unique lens and their unique lens. And so even if I do or say something to upset somebody else and they offer me feedback that doesn't feel good, I get to choose how I receive the feedback that's here for me. And so if somebody is expressing in a negative way, if that negativity is received from me, by me, with loving ears and a loving heart, then that negative feedback lands and that person doesn't have to hold the burden of that negativity anymore. It gets to just dissolve into the love, and love is infinite.
Yes, yes, and yes. I love that. I know one of the reframes I gave myself around that is, how can I allow other people to share their opinion and also look at it from the perspective of, is any of this true for me? And can I see some of these things that might be coming across, or is there a perception here based on some limited information? And for what's true, if it needs correction, can I be really open to that and saying, like I have some areas for growth here? Or can I also look at it and go, "Ooh, wow, yeah, no, that doesn't apply to me."
I'm glad you're bringing that up because for honestly, most of my life, it was very hard to give me feedback. I was a know it all, I knew everything. It was very challenging to give me any kind of feedback. I would get defensive and I can be quite articulate. And so I could articulate a reason why whatever is coming at me was not accurate or point out the one part that wasn't true versus receiving all of the wisdom from the other person of what's true for them in their experience, which makes it true, period. It's not just true for them. If it's true for somebody else, it is true. And therefore, that's why I've trained myself to receive any feedback at any time from anyone for any reason. And that is not something that I was skilled at in the past. In fact, if you ask probably any family members or friends from, decades ago, they would say, yeah, Marla's very hard to give feedback to. I couldn't let it in. It was too scary to let in negative feedback because I was already so self-critical that any more would just collapse me.
Mm.
And so the sort of hard exterior was a protection from my very sensitive insides, how I actually was feeling. And so over the years, I've sort of dissolved those barriers and the defense mechanisms to receive. And that's really living a very tender-hearted life because it's tender-hearted when someone offers you criticism or negative feedback. And, I have a whole practice around that now of asking people for intentionally for negative feedback so that we don't have any grains of sand between us, so that there's harmony in our union of our friendships. That's important to me.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful. And I think that's also one of the things that is such a beautiful practice. And if more people did it, would probably realize their relationships are much richer because instead of sweeping things under the carpet while the other person builds resentment, or the person doing the sweeping is usually the one building the resentment, you're allowing it to get on the table and you're allowing it to let's literally put all our cards on the table so we can look and see good, bad, ugly. Can I share how you called me to ask to be friends? Can I share that?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is something I really admire about you. And I wish that more people did it, but also more women, because it was really beautiful. You and I had known of each other, but hadn't really spent any time together. And y'all, Marla calls me one day and she's like, "Hey, Mary, we're just kind of shooting the shit, catching up. And it's cool because I know she's cool and she's an important person in the world." And I'm like, "Yeah, let me talk to her. She's cool." And Marla says to me, "Mary, I've been watching you for a while now. And I'm just realizing I need more Mary in my life. Can we be friends?" And it was so beautiful. And I just remember you spoke to my human design. And I was going to ask you, did you know that I was a projector at that time?
I don't remember, to be honest. I feel like I might have, but I don't remember. I have a habit of treating all new relationships like projectors. Projectors in human design, they're supposed to wait for the invitation. Not just any invitation, but an invitation that actually recognizes something in them and lights them up and gives them the energy to, want to move forward with something. And so in general, I tend to invite people into a connection or to say yes to something or to say no. So even if I didn't know, that's kind of my approach.
Yeah, you totally spoke to my design. And that's why part of me was did Marla realize I was a projector and was "Oh, this is exactly how I'm going to approach her"? Or is that just who you are? Because it really did speak to me in my design. And Marla just broke down for you what it means to be a projector and how we're waiting for an invitation. And I really loved that because it did speak to my design. And it also was just a really beautiful way to literally just be so straightforward about what you're asking for, right? So I think people do this in networking all the time where they're like, "Oh, I would love to have you in my network. Can we just hop on and see how we can help each other?" Or they'll say something, "I want to know more about what you're doing," but that's not really what they want to know. That's part of what they want to know, but it's not the real intention. And I feel like you just dove right in. You're like, "By the way, my intention is I need more of you in my life. And can we be friends?" I was like, "Yeah."
I love that. Yeah, that is definitely my vibe. I ask for what I want and I'm willing to hear a no.
Yeah. And I love that. I love this really straightforward approach. I think it's beautiful. It doesn't leave room to create stories. It doesn't leave room to wonder. certain things. And I get that, sometimes curiosity can be a good thing. And, especially like they always say, keep them curious, especially with like men in the bedroom. Okay, that's different.
That's different, right? That's a little different. I agree with that. The mystery is good.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes the mystery is good. But in this case, it was really beautiful.
Yeah. In friendships, especially in female friendships, I find that complete transparency is appreciated. And also, I appreciate it. And so there's so much meaning that can be made out of every little interaction with somebody that if I genuinely feel like I want to be deeper friends with someone or develop into a friendship, or if I think that we could have some business connections or something, I'm just going to say it and then, allow it to just be. And, I've said that not exactly like that to other people. I customize it every time because it's unique to each person. But I've reached out to a number of women in that way that I genuinely wanted to develop relationships with. And some people say, yes, I'd love to. And then other people have said, you know what? No, I don't actually have the time to dedicate to that right now. I want to focus on my business and things like that. And so it's a vulnerable request. If I say, hey, would you like to do this? I don't want a people pleasing response. I want a real response. And so I'm willing to hear a yes or a no or nothing. I've also sent messages to people and heard nothing in response. And that's fine. That's fine. That's their choice. I have an open door policy. That's still true. I'm still wanting to connect. And if they now are ready, then great.
Thank you for joining us on today's show. I hope that today's session inspires you to live an aligned life where you get to take complete ownership of your feelings and decisions to live in your truth. You can connect with me more at www.maryd.com. You can also catch us on YouTube at The Mary Dee Show. Head on over to Instagram and Facebook and type in @TheMaryD and just look for the little blue check to ensure you're on my official page.